I've read a fair amount of self-help books over the years, and I think I'm over it. At first, they did seem to have the answers I was looking for. Guides to a better life, happier existence. But after finishing this last one, Never Play It Safe by Chase Jarvis, I don't think I need to read them anymore. As I'm writing down the takeaways, the most important things that I read in this book, I am finding myself wondering, shouldn't I be happier by now? I have one self-helpy book that I want to work through, and that's The Artist Way by Julia Cameron, which I'm sure you've heard of before. This one comes highly recommended by everybody and their mom, and it's, I think Elizabeth Gilbert is her name, that worked through the course in The Artist Way, and then after that wrote the smash hit Eat, Pray, Love, where she then was played by Julia Roberts in the movie. So I'm hoping that this book will do the same creative wonders for me as it did for her. But I do believe that this is going to be the last self-help-ish book that I will read in a while. Here's the thing. For the longest time, I've been looking at happiness as a goal to strive for. So the end result of all this reading and implementing the proposed techniques should have been happiness. And then happiness for me always was something in response to hitting a milestone or a career win, or then related to the past few months when talking about this channel, if I would have a video that did really well. Happiness. I realized that for some reason what I experience or feel like happiness has always been a reaction, oh, these are the wrong ones, has always been a reaction to an outcome. And that is not sustainable. So, because it always makes you go for the other goal, the next goal, the next goal, and the next goal, and you only feel happy when something goes really well. And that is not sustainable because when push comes to shove, the outcome is not always the way you want it to be. So I wanted to find something that's more sustainable, something that will make you feel okay over a longer period of time than just be happy with, oh, this went really well, let's go after the next thing, and then not feel happiness until you actually reach the next goal. Like I said, it's just not sustainable. I am super excited to start this new, tinier oil painting. And the feeling of joy that I'm feeling right now, working on my second ever oil painting, doesn't hinge on the end result. It's tied to the process itself. Learning about this new hobby, learning about the paint, making a mess, playing. The joy is in the doing and not in the finished painting. And finding success doesn't have to be in the major accomplishments. Even though that definitely used to be my thinking, but I've changed that, and now I see success in small moments of gratitude, appreciating the things that we often take for granted. You know, the small joys, like your furry bestie snoring, living his best life. Or the way this oil paint feels on the canvas. And then the fact that it all wasn't too expensive because all these art supplies were bought at Walmart and it was not that expensive. I was happy about that. So over the past few months, I have been simplifying my life. I've been getting rid of the excess and just keeping the things in my life that I really enjoy doing. And in doing so, creating more joy in my life, which is awesome. But I am wondering if all of that came from the self-help books, the productivity books, the, in general, self-improvement books that I've read, or did that just come from within, right? Did I just, by myself, figured out that I needed to slow down in order to find more joy? Because let's be honest, just finding joy in the process is a lot easier than chasing happiness the way I had done in the past. So I've been asked which books help me most in slowing down and creating a more intentional life. And my favorite book by far, and I think I read it first in 2023, but now also throughout 2024, it's still my favorite, and that is 4,000 Weeks by Oliver Burkeman. My friend actually also did a review on that book while she's painting, which I thought was really fun. You can find it here on YouTube. Her channel's name is Love Letter to Books. I'll leave a link to that video in the top comment below. She had really cool thoughts about it too. For me, mostly, the big takeaway of that book is being completely ruthless with your time. Basically, only doing things that float your boat and having no problem in saying no to the things that don't float your boat. And just being okay with missing out, right? I did a video on the joy and the satisfaction of missing out. And that really does come from that book, 4,000 Weeks, because it's just so well describes how we only have a limited time here on Earth. And let's just spend it doing something that brings us joy. So the close second is Essentialism by Greg McEwen. And that one really helped me focus on the projects, basically helped me focus on the things to do so that I can move the projects that really, really matter to me in the right direction, right? To give those specific projects positive momentum. And just like 4,000 Weeks, Essentialism really hammers home the idea that you should focus on the things that really matter to you and not necessarily on the things that you think you should do because other people tell you to. Really find out from the inside what is important to you. And then lastly, the third book that helped me slow down, which is a little bit interesting because I don't think that people would consider that book a reference book to actually slow down and live more intentionally, but it is the 12-week year. And with the 12-week year, it helped me make an actionable plan, right? An actionable plan to execute on the things that I think are really important and the things that I want to do. For example, this YouTube channel and my upcoming newsletter, the new newsletter that I'm working on right now, with the 12-week year, and then keeping in mind what I think is really important, I was able to create a plan to be focused and not focus on things that are not important, but also to have a plan for when I rest, to have a plan for when there's a season of working hard and when there's a season of just relaxing a little bit. And that's what the 12-week year helped me with. So yeah, those are my 3 recommendations that I would have: 4,000 Weeks, and then Essentialism, and the 12-week year. And there are a whole other hosts of books that I've read that I enjoyed reading a lot. But yeah, those are definitely my top 3. And who knows, maybe if you read those or just, find a way yourself to identify what brings you joy, I think that would be just a little bit better of an approach than trying to read all these books in the hopes to become happier, to chase happiness. When it comes down to it, I think that chasing happiness actually makes you less happy rather than focusing on what brings you joy. What processes do you like to do? And also just finding joy in other things, not necessarily specifically sitting down to do something in order to find joy, but just find joy in the things that you do on a day-to-day basis. I'm learning that joy is found in small, simple acts, like drawing or painting, sitting on the ground at the coffee table like I used to do as a child. This is 100% play. It's just for me. It's actually one of those things that was talked about in that book, Never Play It Safe, by Chase Jarvis. Maybe this book needs to make it into my top 3. It'll be a top 4, Never Play It Safe. I like the book a lot. I used to think everything had to have a purpose, a goal, my happiness hinging on how well I executed on that goal. But now I realize joy comes from simply doing without any attachment to what comes next. So, for now, I'm excited to work through the course of The Artist Way, getting up unpleasantly early to do my 3 morning pages. But other than that, I am done with self-help books for a while. Not because they're bad, but because I've realized that joy isn't found in more encouraging words on pages. It's found in the simple act of creating for no other reason than the fun of the process itself.